body, all of that together is who we are, and it's called soul. It's our integrated being. So just to review a little bit from last week, Genesis 2:7 talked about our component parts. We are not just a spirit who has a soul that lives in a physical body. We are bodies. That's who we are. That's just, we have an immaterial part of us and a material part of us that come together and join who we are, and we see it here in the very beginning. The Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and he became a living soul. That's who we are. Okay, that's who we are. It's nephesh. So you put dust and divine breath together, right? Immaterial and material parts of who we are. Those two things together, and we become a living soul. All right? So soul care deals with the totality of who we are, the material and the immaterial aspects of our personhood. And to have a healthy soul requires management. We're not going to just slip in to being healthy. We got to actually take steps, intentional steps, to nurture health in our lives. So we can preach this for literally weeks on end, but I just want to take the first 4 weeks of this year just to talk about some critical areas of care, and that's managing our stress. We talked about that last week. If you missed it, please go back and look at it. As a pastor, that would be my heart for us, is that we know how to manage ourselves and to manage our levels of stress. This week, we're going to look at how to manage our relationships, because we are relational beings. We were created to be in relationship. And so what does that look like? Next week, we'll look at managing our finances. And then the last week of January there, we're going to look at managing our technology. Hello? Because we all need that. All right. So today we're going to be looking at taking care of managing our relationships. And I want to specifically talk about managing our relationships within the church context, within the community of faith, which can be tricky business, but some of the most important business that you ever do. Managing relationships within the church. Rick told me one time, and I love this. I guess a former pastor of Mount Hood Christian Center, his name was Jack Reisner, he used to say that the kingdom of God is a kingdom of right relationships. Let that settle on you for a moment. The kingdom of God is a kingdom of right relationships. So the question is, how do we maintain right relationships? And why should we even try? Well, I think it starts with what we looked at last week, and that is we cannot give what we do not have. Okay? And if we have received freely, we ought to be able to give freely. Our outputs are only managed by our inputs. We can only give what we have. So we have been given, if you look at Scripture, a ridiculous amount of blessings. We have been embarrassed. We have been heaped up with so many riches. It's like an embarrassment of riches. Have you ever been blessed so much by somebody that you've been embarrassed? A couple of years ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, a pastor friend of mine had us over to their church. They're up in like Mount Vernon, Washington. And when we got there, he had put us up in a really nice hotel. And you don't need to do much to take care of me. I'm just like basic. All I need is basic. I've lived with a frugal mentality. I don't need much. But he puts us up in a really nice place. I'm like, wow, it's nice. And then he had the whole table. We walked in and had the whole table just set up with all kinds of really nice goodies, right? Like treats and thoughtful foods and healthy things and drinks there. And he had a couple packages of the crumble cookies. You guys know what those are? Just very thoughtful and kind. And all this was out there, and then he had a really nice, generous gift card for us. I'm like, really nice. I'm like, too much. I was like, oh my goodness. And then after preaching on Sunday, this was about a year and a half ago, he gave us another really generous gift card. I'm like, what are you doing? What is this for? He says, well, one is for all your expenses, and one is for your honorarium. I'm like, you didn't need to do all that? And I was embarrassed. I was like, gosh. And I'm wondering, where does that come from? When somebody's just really heaped it up and really gone over the top and really been kind and courteous to you, it's like you're embarrassed. Well, I think it comes from being deeply indebted to the giver. I can never repay this. We feel just like humbled, and it's close cousin to embarrassment, right? I'm not worthy. I'm in your debt. And with God, we are always in his debt. He just does things for us and to us that should just be an embarrassment of riches. We are forever indebted to God. We are forever in his debt. And this should be embarrassing. Well, that's what we find in Ephesians. Okay, so if you have that book, you could just open to chapter 1. I just want to take you through just a bit of a tour through the first 3 chapters of the book of Ephesians. Chapters 1 through 3 is embarrassing. What God does for us, I mean, he just goes way, way over the top. And chapters 1 through 3 put us in God's debt. So, look up here to the screen. I have this slide here, Ephesians 1 through 3, and I've just tried to itemize some of the things that you will find in the first 3 chapters of this book. This is what the book of Ephesians says about you. If you put your trust and faith in Jesus, this is who you are. You are blessed. You are chosen. You are predestined. Your destiny is worked out in advance. You are redeemed. You are forgiven. You are inheritors of God's riches. You are sealed with God's Spirit. You are given his Spirit. You have been given enlightened hearts. You are called to hope. You are possessors of power. You are members of his body. You are raised with Christ, and you are seated with Christ in heavenly places. You are saved by grace. You are the workmanship of God. You have been brought near. You are fellow citizens. You are members of God's family. You are God's temple. You are God's dwelling place. You are the manifold wisdom of God. You are welcomed into his presence. You are strengthened with power. You are rooted in love. And you are filled with God. That's who you are. He paid with this, with his own blood. He paid for you to have this. He paid for this so that you would have this as your reality. And after reading something like this, we're like, how could I ever repay you? How could, and he didn't put any stipulations on this. All you need to do is trust. All you need to do is surrender, and you've got it. So what do I need to do to ever repay you? And the answer to that question is found in chapter 4, verse 1 through 3. Okay? First 3 chapters is all about what you get. And in light of all of that, here's what he wants you to do. How do I ever repay you? Chapter 4, verse 1. This is how you do it. You walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another, putting up with one another. in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. That's all I want you to do. I've heaped it up for you to enjoy, but now, if you want to pay me back, be eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. The effect of the grace of Jesus should show up in our relationships to one another. You want to know if grace has really gotten into your bones? It's going to show up in your relationships with one another. And it shows up in our eagerness. Eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit. So godly community, or a humble, let's say gentle, patient community, is the marker of the grace of Jesus. It's proof that grace has gotten into you, is the humility, the gentleness, and the patience. But when we engage in godly community, it is inevitable that we will face moments of conflict. Hello? Is this surprising? Sometimes I think we're like scandalized that we've had conflict in the church. That the church should be this place where we're really nice and polite, but yet once we have a conflict, it's like we go running for the door. Ah! We're not supposed to have conflict in the church. But what marriage has ever been conflict-free? What godly marriage? What parent-child relationship has never had conflict? What sibling relationship has never had conflict? What friendship or what family relationship has never had conflict? What relationship is conflict-free? If they are conflict-free, we are probably living a pretty superficial relationship with that person. If you've never had conflict in the church, if you've never been hurt, if you've never been offended, then you have a fairly superficial relationship with it. Church is not an event we attend once a week. It is a people that we are. It's what we are. We do life on life, right? We're doing life together. And let's face it, godly people can sometimes sin against each other. And it would be good for us not to spend our time trying to avoid conflict, but learning how to manage it and how to get to the other side of the conflict. Because you think you might have community, but you don't. All you have, until you go through something together, all you have is a form of pseudo-community. We're pleasant, we're nice, we're polite. But it's until we go through something together, go through a little conflict, and you get to the other side of conflict, then you have a sense of true community, understanding, love, commitment. So how do we manage this and navigate this conflict before it gets out of control? Last week we talked about managing stress, managing anxiety. Everybody has it. You got to just learn how to manage it. Well, same thing for this week. Everybody has conflict. You got to learn how to manage it, though, not ignore it, but handle it so it doesn't get out of control. Well, Jesus gives us the model to follow here in Matthew 18. So this is going to be your main text today. If you want to turn your Bibles there, Matthew 18. Jesus gives us this great model for managing conflict. And I'll also have it up on the screen, but you need to mark your Bibles on this one. This is super critical to the vitality of our church. Verse 15 says, talking about managing conflict. If your brother, if your sister sins against you, it says here in the Message translation, if a fellow believer hurts you, if your brother wrongs you, if a believer does something that is wrong. Verse here says, go tell him his fault between you and him alone. So an instruction is to go have a conversation. Now that seems really scary, right? But that's what the Bible asks us to do. So, how do you know if somebody has sinned against you? Well, differences of opinion don't necessarily constitute sin. Somebody can have a different opinion on something. Somebody can even vote differently. These things, right? They're not sinning against you. Having a fault doesn't necessarily constitute sin. And someone hurting your feelings isn't necessarily sinful. Much of the time we'll need to accept the differences, overlook the faults, and let go of hard feelings. It's like water under the bridge. If you get your feelings hurt in a relationship, you can let it go. Okay, we don't need to make an issue out of every little thing. So just let it go. However, on occasion, we may not be able to do that. And I think this is what this is speaking to. So a good test, a good but not perfect test, is when the differences and the faults and the hard feelings change your perception of that person and sours your ability to relate well with them. If that happens, then you know it's time to have a conversation. And oh, that's so hard, isn't it? It's easier just to hold a grudge, right? But remember this. I got this slide here. Before you hold a grudge, hold a conversation. Don't hold a grudge. Hold a conversation. Grudges take too much time. They take too much energy to maintain. So hold the conversation, and you might not even need to hold the grudge. Verse 15 says, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. Another translation says, go and point out what was wrong, but do it in private, just between the two of you. That doesn't mean go to a third party. I know that's the easiest thing to do, right? But if somebody comes to me about a problem with somebody else, I'm always, have you talked to them about this? Yes. Once people start complaining to you about somebody else, then the quickest way to kill that spirit is to start to compliment that person. Oh, I love that person. You know, if you were to have a conversation with them, they would really know how to handle this. So send a person back to the source. Go directly to the person, and don't just have a conversation on the fly. Don't just do it in passing. Put some thought into it and have a good conversation. Make sure you do it in the spirit of Galatians 6:1. Brothers and sisters, if a person is discovered in some sin, you who are spiritual, restore such a person in the spirit of gentleness. So when you go have this conversation with this person, go in the spirit of gentleness, humility. And sometimes that's not the case. When we're mad, when we're upset, when we're offended, the Bible says, go and tell him his fault. And you could do that, and you can be kind of rude in doing that and just say, well, I'm just being honest. And it just cuts through like a knife. But I like what Adam Grant says here. He says, I'm just being honest is a poor excuse for being rude. Candor is being forthcoming in what you say. Respect is being considerate in how you say it. So when you go and have a conversation, be prepared. Plan out your words. Sometimes I even script it down on a piece of paper, and I want to get it right. And I'm going to make sure my spirit is cooled down in the moment, and I'm not going to be emotionally reactive. I'm going to be clear-headed, and I'm going to go with a spirit of care and have a good conversation, a conversation that best describes my thinking and best describes the way I feel for the person that I'm having an issue with. Think about how you're going to approach. Let your emotions cool down. And try to use I statements instead of you, blaming. You always, you do, you. No, I. When you did this, when you said that or did that, hey, I felt X, Y, and Z. I felt embarrassed, felt hurt, I felt upset. And don't blurt out something that you're going to regret later. Carefully plan a response that best describes where you're coming from. And verse 15 says, if he listens to you, you've gained your brother. And 95% of the time, that is going to be the result. But if that doesn't do the trick, the verse continues. Verse 16 says, but if he does not listen, take one or two along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. If you bring a problem to a brother and they throw it back into your face and never gets resolved, then you can consider, according to Scripture, these are the words of Jesus, to take a friend or two and go back to the person. If he refuses to listen to them, yikes, tell it to the church or some representatives of the church. In this case, I think it would be the elders. Just consider bringing an elder along. Tell it to the church. Tell it to a representative of the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, we got a bad case here. If they refuse to acknowledge their sin or their part in the offense, let him be to you as a Gentile and a tax collector. Somebody who doesn't even belong to the community. He's saying here, and these are the words of Jesus, exclude them from the community. Yeah, this is where we get the idea of excommunication. These are the words of Jesus. And hopefully it never gets to this point, because this seems pretty aggressive, doesn't it? But bitterness, resentment, unforgiveness, ill will, nursing grudges in the body is a cancer that requires an aggressive treatment plan. We do not want cancer in the body. And if it's in the body, physically, we know we got to go get that cut. We got to take it out. Sometimes we have to choose an aggressive treatment plan because it's cancer. So the same thing goes in the spirit when there's offense and ill will and nursing of grudges. We sometimes have to take drastic measures. But hopefully they don't need to be draconian. Every step along the way should be handled with the greatest amount of thoughtfulness and care and love and humility. But the point is, in the name of Ephesians 1, 2, and 3, be reconciled. We have been embarrassed. I mean, why would God heap up his blessings on us for us to go around and nurse our grudges? We got to go back to our inheritance. We got to go back to Ephesians 1, 2, and 3. And in light of that, be reconciled. Either let it go, water under the bridge, or go and have a conversation. 95% of the time, things will get rectified. If not, then you go through the rest of the stages to ensure health in the body of Christ. We are his body, and we do not want anything that will damage the integrity of our body. So be reconciled. Be reconciled. We are forever in his debt. Go back to the gospel. Grace, G-R-A-C-E, God's riches at Christ's expense. You have been heaped up with riches. Go back to that. And at the expense of Jesus, he paid the price so that we can enjoy those riches. So, we owe him our reconciliation with one another. That's what we owe him. Grace happens first, and we have been heaped up with grace. Listen again to the words of Jesus, Matthew chapter 5. This is heavy, but this is truth. Matthew 5 says, "You have heard that it was said of those of old, 'You shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to the judgment.' But I say to you, everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to the council, and whoever says, 'You fool,' will be liable to the hell of fire." So when we harbor ill will towards one another, our liability goes through the roof. You don't want it. So if you're offering your gift at the altar, Jesus says, if you're worshiping God, and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother or to your sister, and then come and offer your gift. So it's interesting here that some people say, well, if they had a problem with me, they can come to me and take care of it. This says, though, that Jesus doesn't give us that out. Right? If we have a problem with somebody, or if we know that they have a problem with me, or suspect that they have a problem with me, then it's up to us to take care of the problem. Come to terms quickly, Jesus says, with your accuser while you're going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you be put into prison. Truly, I say to you, you will never get out until you've paid the last penny. So, whether you're the offender or the offended, Scripture, Jesus asks us to make the relationship right. And then you will have this in Psalm 133. Behold how good and pleasant it is when brothers dwell together in unity. It is like the precious oil on the head, running down on the beard of Aaron, running down on the collar of his robes. The oil of God falls upon us and gives healing, restoration. That's exactly what we need as the body of Christ. So what does this kind of work require? I think it requires guts. Anybody have that? Everybody in this room has that. Okay? This requires grit. Okay, we're not going to ignore problems. We're not going to shuffle them off to the side. We're going to deal with problems and have conversations if they need to happen. This requires vulnerability, which requires humility. Why are we afraid of this? Fear. Rejection. I think self-protection. We like to protect ourselves, and a good dose of pride. What do we stand to lose? Pride. What do we stand to gain? A deeper relationship and a deeper understanding and a true humility that looks a lot like Jesus. You know what the community is? It's a sanctifying tool for us to become more like Jesus. Anytime you have a conflict that you need to go and clear up, you become more like Jesus. He sacrificed himself. He hung on a cross, and we, as his people, are called to take up our cross and follow him. Do as he did. Take a nail for somebody. Even if I don't get to win the argument, I get to win the relationship. And so this here is one of the greatest ways of becoming more like Jesus. He has put you in a community that has a bunch of rough edges, so it would work on your life and you would be formed and fashioned in his image. So stand to your feet. I like the prayer that says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. See if there be any wicked way, any crooked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." I want to grow. I want to be humble. I want to be more like Jesus. If there's anything in me whatsoever that's holding up the spirit of unity in the body, I will take care of it, Lord Jesus. And I pray that would be your heart as well. So as we enter into this last song, let's sing in response. Ask the Holy Spirit to shine his light in the way you relate, in the way you think. If you're harboring any ill will at all in the body, expose it. Bring it to the surface. Give me the courage. Give me the guts to either let it go or to go back and have a conversation. Because if there's any cancer in the body, we got to take it out so that we can be whole, healthy,